Why modern people reject Jesus, and why he'd agree. For many intelligent people today, the conversation about Jesus is over before it begins. The reasons are typically twofold and profound. First comes the intellectual hurdle. In an age of science and reason, how can one possibly believe in supernatural miracles, the walking on water, the raising of the dead? It feels like a non-starter, a demand to accept superstition. The second reason is moral. The horrifying legacy of atrocities committed over 2,000 years by institutions and individuals claiming to act in Jesus' name. From holy wars to bigotry, this history makes any claims of moral superiority feel hypocritical at best. These are not trivial objections. They are powerful, rational, and entirely justified critiques. The supreme irony, however, is that these very criticisms, aversion to spectacle and disgust at hypocrisy, were not only anticipated by Jesus, but were central to his own recorded warnings. The story found in the Gospels is not of a man oblivious to how his legacy could be corrupted, but of one who fought against it from the start. Resisting the magic show. Many modern people turn away from Christianity because they are unwilling to abandon a rational worldview to embrace what appears to be ancient superstition. Why then, they ask, is so much emphasis placed on supernatural healing and signs? Yet the gospel accounts show Jesus consistently frustrated by this very fixation. When he healed people, he often followed with a stern command to tell no one, Mark 1:44. This was not a humble brag. It was a desperate attempt to keep the message from being eclipsed by the methods. He knew people were more drawn to spectacle than substance. He saw his miracles as signposts, not the main event, and actively resisted being turned into a circus act for a populace hungry for magic. When the educated elite demanded a sign from him, he refused, decrying their desire for proof in power over truth in philosophy. Matthew 12:39. His primary concern was not for people to believe in the supernatural, but for them to understand a radical new teaching about love, sacrifice, and the kingdom of God. He seemed to understand that a faith built on wonder is more fragile than one built on conviction. The prophecy of the wolf. Even more powerfully, many reject Christianity because they see it as a force for division, judgment, and historical atrocity. It is difficult to hear a message of love from an institution whose history includes the Crusades, the Inquisition, and the justification of slavery, and whose modern face can seem exclusionary and hateful. This critique is not just valid, it was foretold. Jesus explicitly warned that his name would be co-opted by charlatans and villains. His description of wolves in sheep's clothing, who are known by their fruits, is a direct command to judge people on their actions, not their professed faith. Matthew 7:15-20. More chillingly, he prophesied a future where many would claim his authority, only to be utterly disowned by him. I will say to them plainly, I never knew you. Away from me, you evildoers. Matthew 7:22-23. He provided, in his own words, the very metric by which we can condemn those who use his name for power, control, and violence. He didn't just ask for followers, he warned what a false follower would look like. And his description perfectly matches the figures that have made Christianity so repellent to so many. Conclusion. Separating the founder from the flaws. Let's be clear, a modern person is entirely justified in turning away from Christianity because of its insistence on the supernatural and its 2,000-year history of bad actors. To dismiss an institution as a tribalist cult rife with hypocrisy and superstition is often a rational act based on observable evidence. But to equate a broken institution with the teachings of its founder is to miss a crucial detail. Jesus was the first to warn us about these exact failings.
A rejection of a supernatural litmus test and an abhorrence of religious evil are not modern critiques hostile to Jesus. They are principles found within his own message. This presents a fascinating challenge to the modern skeptic. Perhaps the most intellectually honest approach is not to dismiss Jesus because of the flaws of Christianity, but to see him as its first and most insightful critic, making his original teachings worthy of examination on their own powerful, untainted terms.